Hi, this is Steve Brandt, coming to you from the Route 66 Spirit of America Museum in Stroud, Oklahoma. When I opened this museum in June of last year, I had no idea that there was a geodesic dome in Oklahoma City that was empty and for sale on Route 66. I mention this because learning about this within the last 10 days or so, it was an act of God. It changed my life. And that's because I have known who Buckminster Fuller was since 1979. And I moved to Oklahoma almost 4 years ago, but again, did not know that the Gold Dome building existed, let alone was empty and for sale until about 10 years ago. So how, despite my many years of involvement with Buckminster Fuller's work, including meeting and becoming friends with his daughter Allegra in 1995, kept me unaware of this dome, I don't know. But I've been praying for guidance ever since the recent election results showed that we continue to live in a very divided nation. And the result I got of those prayers was learning that the Gold Dome building exists and can be bought for about $3 million. And the meeting I just came from with the representative of the owner included information that studies have been done showing it'll require about $7 million additional dollars to bring the building back because it is in need of significant restoration work. So I'm making this video to reach out to the network I've been a part of in one way or another for literally decades. I'm thinking of how I've met Amory Lovins, saw him originally at John Denver's WinStar Foundation Choices for the Future Symposium. That would have been in the early 90s. Last met him in 2012 in Washington, D.C. Thinking of architect William McDonough, who helped create the cradle-to-cradle design philosophy with his partner Michael Braungart, the chemist. And Cradle to Cradle is a transformational approach to how we make everything from fabric to office buildings, all in ways that are friendly to Mother Nature rather than contrary to her design principles. I'm thinking of Ryan Eisler, the creator of the Center for Partnership Studies, who escaped Germany as a child before Hitler killed all the Jews, and discovered more than 40 years ago that there was actually a history of partnership between men and women that predates the culture of men dominating women. That was her book, The Chalice and the Blade. She is, I believe, 94 years old now, and still pushing for a future based on partnership rather than domination. And I met her in New York when she was celebrating the anniversary of her book a number of years ago. There are a great many others. I'm also thinking of Hunter Lovins with her natural capitalism work. And of course, the legacy of Buckminster Fuller is out there waiting to be rediscovered, as well as the work of these people who were either students of his or contemporaries of his, all in keeping with the overall point that we are at a crossroads in history, literally a fork in the road between either utopia or oblivion, to quote one of Buckminster Fuller's books. And the public largely doesn't know that there's another option, that there's an option available other than constant conflict, an option other than living in a world where it's you or me. As Buckminster Fuller said, it doesn't have to be you or me. It can be we. It's possible for everyone on earth to live together in peace, but what's preventing that from happening is not enough people know that it is a possible dream, that we actually have the ability to do it. So this is all background to say that, having visited the Gold Dome building today for the first time, my plan is to turn it into a museum, a Route 66 museum. It would be the museum of the history of the future. So imagine that you are 25 years in the future. What will the history of the previous 25 years have been? Looking back, will it have been 25 years of conflict, or will it have been 25 years of a cultural transformation? Because what Buckminster Fuller knew, as well as what Dr. W. Edwards Deming knew, and Dr. Russell Ackoff knew, and many others who pioneered the problem-solving methodology called systems thinking, where we redesign a dysfunctional system rather than fixing the broken parts. Because if all you do is fix the parts and the system is still dysfunctional, the parts will just break again. The real opportunity that these pioneers gave us, as is demonstrated by Amory Lovin's application of those principles and Bill McDonough's application of those principles, is to design a new approach, to use principles that eliminate the causes of why things break, including the breakage between cultures that results in war. So the opportunity to build a museum on Route 66 that celebrates this alternative future is huge, especially at this critical time in human history. And so I'm reaching out to people through this video and through what I have written and will be writing to request your participation in putting a proposal together to buy and renovate the Gold Dome building. Again, it's a roughly $10 million project. I know there are grant opportunities, but there are also organizations with deep pockets out there. I seem to recall reading a number of years ago that Jeff Bezos had given the Rocky Mountain Institute something on the order of $100 million to push forward the sustainable future agenda. Well, imagine 10 million of those dollars going into creating something that makes that future visible, not just to the people who are working on it, but to the public, a public that is desperate for a positive vision. As the old expression goes, without a vision, the people will perish. And the only way to get this vision out is through things that are public. It's not enough just for those of us who are working on it to meet with each other. We need to reach out and get a public that, again, is literally dying for an alternative, to know that that alternative is possible, is out there. And the other expression that comes to mind is, the people can't demand what they don't know they can have. But if they know this option exists, they will either get their leaders to give it to them or will do it themselves. And these days, sadly, the leadership that existed when I was growing up, in the form of people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and President Kennedy, who sent us to the moon, I don't see that today. So it may be the last expression that comes to mind. We are the heroes we've been waiting for. So we may need to bring this new future into being ourselves. But I'm certainly open to there being leadership of the kind that Dr. King represented, President Kennedy represented, and other people who participated in the civil rights movement, including people from Hollywood. So I'm going to end this video for now by saying I am delighted to be working on this, and I would be even more delighted to have a team with me. So that is my request. Please let me know if you would like to be on this team. And that includes if you have access to funds, but also if you have access to the kind of ideas and experiences that it takes to launch a museum as an organization, and to create the kinds of exhibits and programs that would attract the public to this vision of a future that is a dream that actually can be achieved. Thanks very much for watching and listening. I look forward to hearing from you.